Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Disney Hobby Guides. Like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications. It really helps me grow my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the villas at the Disneyland Hotel, the newest resort that's coming to California. It's going to be right next to the Disneyland Hotel, which is why it's appropriately named the Villas at the Disneyland Hotel. It's the newest Disney Vacation Club property that's going to come online soon, potentially next year. And some interesting news came out, and I'm a little bit late on this, and I do apologize, but I am a little bit late. But apparently the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulations issued a timeshare license to DVC for the villas at the Disneyland Hotel. And in this whole license, it kind of drafts how many weeks that they're allowed, timeshare weeks that they're allowed to issue out. And it comes out to roughly around 326 vacation homes, down from 350, which was originally thought to be the amount that they're going to build. So it's slightly less, but 326 rooms compared to 70, I think it's 78 right now at the Grand Cal, is really, really good. That would bring the total up to a little bit over 400 Disney villas down in California, and we need that. We sorely need that. Right now it's almost impossible to get a room at the Grand unless you own at the Grand. We're talking about studios getting sold out in less than 5-10 minutes of every single day that they're being released, and you got people trying to walk their reservations as well. Unless you own at the Grand Cal, it's almost impossible to get a room there. Adding 326 rooms to this equation, even though it's not the Grand Californian, it's still really, really good. So if you want to visit Disneyland from the East Coast or from Hawaii or from North Carolina and you just need a room, this may be your way to go. That's a very good amount of rooms. There hasn't been really any talks about how they plan on kind of doing the resale portion of this. So with the resale portion at Riviera, currently how that's structured is if you're the direct buyer of that Riviera contract, when you sell it out, whoever buys it from you gets a super restricted contract. That contract can only be used at the Riviera, nowhere else, not a single other resort outside of Riviera. That's a huge restriction. If you love the Riviera and you just want an interest there, hey, that's great. If you're the direct buyer, it doesn't affect you because you can use everything in that contract. But whoever buys it from you can only use the Riviera. So if they decide to continue on with that restriction and make the villas at the Disneyland Hotel and inherit that, that's not exactly a bad thing per se. Because there's a lot of people that want to have a California interest, but they don't want to pay Grand Californian prices. Grand Californian, I think last time I checked the rack, was $310 a point. Resale is kind of averaging about $285 a point, so there's really not a whole lot of savings. And the reason for that is because there's just no supply in direct right now, right? So the resale market is kind of caught up in cost. Because they can get that. The only way you can own there is through resale. So that's how come, Disney doesn't really buy back anything from the villas of the Grand Californian, because there's no profit in there. It's only like $20 to $30 a point. And traditionally, from what I've seen, they like making at least $100 per point under a purchase. So they'll purchase the resale contract $100 per point less, and then they'll issue it out. From a direct sale, they'll make about that much. There's just no money involved at the Disney, at the villas at the Grand Californian, which is unfortunate that they're not picking up any inventory. And furthermore, it's like it doesn't make sense to pick up that resort right now because Disneyland Resort's around the corner, so they're trying to create that like California pressure to buy right now. It's like, oh hey, we finally have a resort in California available. Go get it, right? So even if they put that restriction in, it's not bad, because if anyone wants a California contract, if this comes in swinging at 207, much in line with villas at the Grand Floridian or Aulani right now, with incentives, it could potentially bring that down to, upwards of 190 a point. That's extremely cheap for California. I don't think it's going to come out and match at 207. I think it's probably going to come out, 240-ish or maybe even 230-ish, somewhere around there. Just because they're going to get people all day when they ask that. And currently in this Disney age where they're all about the money. They're not really so much about the people anymore. They're not so much about the guests anymore. They just want to find ways to make as much money as possible, which is fine because they're a corporation at the end of the day. They need to survive. They need to protect their shareholders. I get that. I don't think they would swing this at 207. It just doesn't make any sense. More along the lines of 240, and I would be shocked if they come in at 240 as well. Realistically, 280 would be something that I would say they should start at, just because they'll get that all day. But hey, I don't know. No one knows what it's going to come out to. What are your thoughts? Like, what do you think they're going to come swinging out at? Are you going to pick up the villas at the villas at the Disneyland Hotel, or are you going to wait for more Grand Cal to come out? What are your plans? In terms of like pointage too, I was thinking about that too. Hypothetically speaking, if you were to resell that out and somebody is trying to pick up an interest, how many points do you need resale wise for that to even make sense? I'm looking at the 2022 villas of the Grand Californian points, the points cost right now. And if you can bank and borrow at 100 points, that gives you 300 points. That barely gets you a week during the two cheapest seasons in a 1-bedroom. So if you want to get a week at a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom and to keep around the same pointage for the villas at the Disneyland Hotel, the most expensive time for a 3-bedroom for 1 week is 1,358 points at the villas at the Grand Californian. And that is the most expensive, peak season, Christmas time, Thanksgiving time, spring break time. So if you need a 3-bedroom for that, for whatever reason, that's how much it costs, 1,358. And if you divide that by 3, it comes out to roughly around 400 or 450-ish a point, give or take, that you would need to bank and borrow in order to achieve that much. So I don't know what your needs are, but you might want to take into consideration when you buy this resort. You might have to buy enough that if you need to resell, that it'll be enticing enough for that person to actually buy your contract as well. Because you might have a hard time selling it if it's confined only to one resort. Okay, so those are kind of my thoughts. That's kind of an update. Take care, guys.